All right, so we're going to talk about how do you get the whole crowd talking instead of the same two people that talk every single time and seem to say the same thing every single time. It's a real challenge, especially as your group is small, and even a challenge when your group gets really big. There's this sweet spot in the middle that we all are excited when we're there, but ultimately there's these places where it just seems like it's the same people talking every time. And I'd be kidding myself if I didn't think that, every single week at the size of the group that I do, which is around 450 to 475 people, there's some regulars, and you probably hear them quite often from time to time on the recordings. We love them to death. And in fact, some of them, I can't wait for them to speak because they're real deep thinking people. They've prepared. And I'd rather hear someone speak of something deep and be prepared than not. But there's often the challenge of having the people who want to show you they have nothing to say, and they prove it. So how do you as a facilitator help, especially when your group's real small or when it's extra large, to avoid some of the people who just want to take over the conversation? In the Bible Lab, we have a couple of things. And if you use the interaction card package, you have the question card, you have the comment card. And one of the challenges is I've got microphone people, 4 microphone handlers who are going around, and they've got the microphone for the person that's got the comment card or the question card up, and I go in order. But I get a little frustrated sometimes because I look at them like, this person's either already had a turn that study, or I know what they're going to say. It's going to be the same thing over again, or something that, might not be very deep. So how do you manage a group at the beginning? One of the easiest things that you can do is, especially at the beginning when you don't have a lot of comment cards going up right away, is let's say that the 2 people that always comment, or the 1 person that always comments, have already had their comment. You've let them have their say. Be really polite. We don't want to have showdowns in the Bible Lab, but they've already had their chance. Then what you do is this. Let's say the person's sitting on this side of the room. You say, okay, this next question is for the people sitting on my left over here, from here to here. I'm going to ask this question to people on the left. It's very polite and not saying, I want to hear from everyone except for Bob, who's been talking every single Bible Lab since we started and monopolizes the time. We don't have to confront it. We say, I want to hear from this side. Or if Bob's sitting over here, we say, I want to hear from the people on this side. Let's say the person's a lady who is just always talking and just airing her laundry and goes on and on and on. Let's say she's already spoken. You can easily say this. You can say, wow, we've already heard from Sue, and thank you for sharing, Sue. This question, I want to hear from the rest of you. She answered her way. I want to hear what the rest of you think. And you either stay on the same question, or you can go to the next question with, okay, Sue shared this. This is really good. What do the rest of you think? In other words, Sue, you've already talked. I don't need to hear you answer this one as well. It's another polite way of doing that. Find different ways of saying, okay, we've heard from the men. Okay, now I want to hear from the women. We heard from the women. Now I want to hear from the men. This side. Now I want to hear from that side. And if the person just doesn't get it, and even though I've tried to keep them out of whatever the next question is, or to keep responding, if they just keep going, it's okay to acknowledge them and say, Sue, we've heard you, and I sure appreciate your viewpoint. It's really good. I just want to see what the rest of the group thinks about this too. I want to get a broad perspective. What do the rest of you think? And by calling them out by name and being polite, being loving to them while you're doing it, it kind of helps them understand this is a group conversation. This is not their stage. This is not their chance to just go on and on about themselves and have everyone's focus on them. The focus shouldn't be on them. The focus has to be on the character of God. And so find little tools to be able to say, okay, we've heard from you, we've heard from the men, we've heard from the women, and find every way that you can to help incorporate as many people in the conversation as you can, because the people that don't talk have the best stories. The people who are quiet have the most deep responses, and those are the people that we want to get talking. So let's say you've said, okay, Sue, we've heard from you. What do the rest of you think? And it's silence. Please don't move on. Let it sit. Remember what I said before, silence is your greatest tool. It's your greatest weapon. It's the ammo that you need to get everyone talking. So don't be so nervous about it's not radio. You don't have to worry about dead air. Let the time go. And let's say there is a moment in time where it's silence for an incredibly uncomfortable time. Acknowledge the silence. Say, yeah, you guys are thinking about it. Appreciate the silence. Let people know you appreciate it. Say, I'm so thankful you guys aren't just answering so quickly. I'm so thankful you're actually thinking about this, and you're not looking for a pat answer. You're actually taking your time to process a response. Thank you. Thank you for doing that. And compliment the silence. It helps people relax. And then when they speak up, then it's going to be good. So the silence, I know it's going to make you uncomfortable, but silence is better than hearing from the same person over and over again. So let that silence reign, but also learn how to shepherd the people who are talking too much to actually tone down a little bit. And in the next video, I'm actually going to talk to you about individuals that try to hijack your conversation. What do you do when they have a pet topic and they keep wanting to talk about their pet topic, but it's not really appropriate to the topic that you're trying to go through? How do you address that in a loving way and also in a way that helps that stop?